Hello and welcome to another Super 3 Boy Blender tutorial. Today we're going to talk a little bit about particles. Now, before we start, I'm going to do a little self-promotion. You can always go to forum.nistic.com to view the latest renders, the latest news, or ask any questions you have. Once you register, you can go to the Blender 3D categories, and there's also a lot of other categories that you can post in just to have fun. And there's several posts to help you, like the Blender FAQ. And for example, one of the benefits of registering and posting is that you can suggest tutorials, and they're more likely to get done than if you just suggested it in a comment. So, for example, in Skyscraper City, a user suggested that I made a tutorial so he can win particles, and I said I haven't, and that's what I'm doing right now. So let's get started on our tutorial. I have Blender open here with our default cube. I'm going to hit Control X to erase all, get back to the original settings I was playing with it a little bit before. Now, usually we start using our default cube, but today we're just going to hit X, erase selected objects to delete our cube. We don't need it today. Hit space, add mesh, plane, and then hit tab to get out of edit mode into object mode. So now we have our plane, which I'll go ahead and rotate and show you now. And what we're going to do is go all the way down here to where it says object. You can also press S7 or F7, sorry. And then we'll go over here to the physics button, and you click on that. And you can see that particles has its own little window, little tab over here, which I can make smaller or bigger. I'm going to hit new, and a bunch of options appear. We have two tabs full with options. So right now I'm going to sort of, using Alt and holding the left mouse button, sort of get this plane into view, and I'm going to hit Alt A. As you can see, when I hit Alt A, that starts the animation. The plane is populated with tiny little dots or particles. Now you can sort of see they're like kind of twinkling like stars there. And we can change a lot of options to make them do different things. So right now, it's sort of just resting and sparkling on the plane. If I was to hit escape to stop the animation, I could go down here and click particle motion. And normal, I can increase that, and that gives the particle a little velocity, a little starting speed. So if I hit Alt A, they'll fly out of the plane. If I hit escape, and I make that a little bit smaller, something a small number, you can see they don't go as far, and they just sort of dissipate up here. So we have several options, like I said before, to change about these particles. First one I just showed you here is the normal, the initial velocity we give it. We can also give it a random option. When we increase that, it goes off in random directions. As you can see here, particles are just flying everywhere. You can modify this to look more like a fire, you see. I'm just sort of flying out there and rising up. So I'm going to hit X. And then you can set the different forces you want and customize them. See, they're sort of going to the negative X direction, which is that way. So it looks sort of like they're blowing in the wind, to me at least. And you can modify these on all axes, so I could have it go a little bit down. See, see how it's sort of dissipating down there. So, what we're going to do is go all the way down here to where it says object. You can always press S7 or F7 to stop the animation. See, they're sort of going to the negative X direction, which is that way. So it looks sort of like they're blowing in the wind, to me at least. And you can modify these on all axes, so I could have it go a little bit down. See how it's sort of dissipating down there. You can also do more things with this in the particles section here. There's amount, which increases the amount of particles. Pretty self-explanatory. So if I can increase this to like 3,800, there's a whole lot more particles that come out of that plane. And then you can also set the life. Right now it was at 50. If I put this to 1, you can see they don't even get out of the plane. They just have a short lifespan there. But if we put it to something like 200, 218, this thing is just going to keep on going, and they're not going to disappear as quick as they would if I set it for something smaller. So you can really play with these options here, like start of the particles or end. This is in frames, so I can increase this to 236. The animation is set to run for a total of 250 frames. So if I hit Alt A, then the particles will just keep on emitting to just about the end of the 250 frames. See how they stop right there? And we'll just keep, it's doing it in a loop, so we'll just keep on repeating. And you can also render this off as an animation to see these particles in a rendered form. And you can also apply materials to particles, which I'll get into a little bit later. It's a little bit more complicated. But I hope from this tutorial you learned a little bit about particles and how to get to them, the different options that particles have. They have amounts. You can set the life of the particle, hit escape. You can make them split out in random directions by modifying the random property or the normal, giving it a little bit more velocity to shoot out there, or just sort of just go out there with not a much velocity. Or you can set different forces if you want particles to go in a certain direction. So I hope to see you in the next tutorial, and I hope you learned something. Bye.